job is to get his hands on the tight end and stay with him all over the football field.
He did. He had his hands on him.
He had his hands on him. Would you have thrown the flag?
No. No.
Yeah.
3rd and 13. 6:47 to go. By the way, 215 yards on the ground. And maybe they can add to it here. Mike Shadd with a roll block in front of Mark Higgs. And that's close for the first down and a season high in yardage gained on the ground for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And one of the reasons why, Vern, is the blocking downfield. Sure, it starts with the offensive line. Sure, it starts with the back in the backfield who is not carrying the ball. But the real key was the blocks thrown by these guys, these wide receivers, downfield. Look at them looking for someone. There's double team right there on Tim McDonald. And look at the effort by Carter as he comes off and throws another block downfield on 47, Cedric Mack. Those are the things that separate good people, good receivers, and make them great ones because they have the ability to block.
225 yards on the ground for the Eagles now. Under 6 minutes to go. Up the middle, Heath Sherman.
Look at this.
Nifty run. Carl Carter makes the tackle. 7 men have run the football for the Philadelphia Eagles today. 7.
That is unheard of. When I was in Pittsburgh, 2 guys ran it, Blyer and Harris, and maybe myself occasionally, but that's unheard of. 7 backs carrying the ball.
2nd down and 4. 24-14, 5:19 to go in the game. They flip it left, incomplete. Robert Drummond, 4th drop.
Yeah, but Drummond wasn't quite ready, Vern. I'm going to have to jump in there for his defense. He was still going downfield. He had not gotten his head around, and Cunningham, sensing that, went ahead and threw the ball. Now, one thing Randall could have done to help Drummond was not throw it quite as hard. Take a little bit off of it and lay it out, anticipating, allowing enough time for Drummond's head to come around. If you throw it hard, it's important that the receiver, especially a running back, that he's looking at you, because he's not used to catching bullets when he's not looking at you. The fade, do you run the fade to Carter?
Carter's on the right side. They've done it 7 times this year. Nope, they hand it off. Heath Sherman, touchdown!
Ted Plum, great call. Sherman wanting to go to the outside. Now he's just picking, running, diving, and then senses that goal line, knowing that all he has to do is have the ball break the plane. He doesn't have to get across, stretches out, and then follows the ball in for the touchdown.
Roger Ruzek will try to tack on the extra point. Just hooks it inside the left upright. It's good. And 31-14 now. The Philadelphia Eagles with a relentless ground attack on Christmas Eve. Lead it by 17 with 5:09 remaining. Here it was a sellout but not a full house. Most of them have started to wend their way home for Christmas Eve celebrations and perhaps to get home in time to watch the second half of our doubleheader that's coming up after this game as the Chicago Bears take on the San Francisco 49ers. Pat and John are out on the West Coast, Candlestick, to bring you that game. The 49ers, of course, are at home for the duration of the playoffs as they are in quest of their 4th Super Bowl win of the 1980s.
Bears have to be totally disappointed with their season, Dipka especially.
Here's Ruzek with the kick. Sikahima with the catch at the 13. Britt Hager, number 54, makes the tackle.
31-14, 5 minutes left in the game. Now's the time to get your starters out, get your stars out of there, save them. You don't need them. You know, I see Reggie White going out there, and you know, if I were Buddy Ryan, and it's not like college where you can bring in a brand new defensive unit, but I would spell a lot of my key people and get them out of there, especially those that maybe are a little bit nicked. Well, I do see Eric Everett now is in the ball game, and so that's one change up. Eric Allen had been starting with a bad ankle, and Everett now in the ball game for them.
There's Eric Everett, and it's a first down and 10, Phoenix. Deep right side. Hogeboom limping as he heads downfield.
Excellent throw by Gary that time. To just stand in the pocket. The thing that was so interesting was that he did not drop that deep. He only got about 4, maybe 5 yards deep. And when he threw the football, he got his arm. Evidently, when he followed through, Vern, his arm hit a helmet or a shoulder pad, and he's in a lot of pain. I broke my right thumb twice. One of them was a spiral break where the bone just shattered all the way up to the wrist, and it was because I followed through, and the thumb is always pointing down after release. There's a punt, and then there's the throw, and you could see the right hand hit the back of the helmet of Golick, Mike Golick. When it does that, it not only does the thumb hit it, but the elbow then is forced out at the joint.
So that was well after he threw the ball.
Yeah. And that does hurt, and he's not using gloves, and it's about a minus 10 or 15 degrees down there, pointing to the bench, telling them bring in Tupa or whoever.
Tom Tupa warming up. The Cardinals did call timeout. Tom Tupa, who's started in the first game against Phoenix and threw 6 of his 9 interceptions for the season in that 17-5 loss.
Ooh. Don't you know that was hard to live with? I threw 5 in one half, and I was looking all over the place for a place just to go and hide, and to wake up tomorrow realizing this was all a dream.
First down, Tupa back, left side, caught by Farrell, and he's out of bounds to stop the clock at the 17-yard line. So Tupa gets his first pass.
Interesting thing about Tupa was that he was drafted out of, I believe it was Ohio State,
right,
wasn't it? As a punter, not a quarterback, but has come on. And Gene Stallings, prior to being released by the Cardinals, was extremely high on Tupa. Very competitive guy. Probably doesn't have quite the work habits that they really want, but has a lot of talent. The other kid, Rosenbach, is a kid that got a chance to start a couple of weeks ago and was replaced last week, actually. And you thought maybe that would be him to come in here.
Split backs behind Tupa on first down and 10.
Good job. Good job by the young quarterback.
Check the penalty now and see if the Eagles claim they were drawn offside. And Red Cashman will check it out.
False start. Number 68 on the offense. Still first down.
That's Joe Wolf. Well, Tom Tupa, as Terry said, drafted as a punter rather, and you think he's not being paid on a on the basis of a punter? Here are the salaries for the Cardinals in '89. Rosenbaugh, the rookie, at $1.8 million. Lomax, who is on injured reserve, $1.3 million. Hogeboom at $945,000, and there's poor Tom at $145,000.
Took me 8 years to make $1.8 million in the National Football League.
8 years?
8 years.
Hogeboom's back again. Intercepted. Eric Everett. And I think they're going to rule him down at the 1-yard line. Yes, they are. It will not be a touchback. It will be an interception for Everett.
It looked to me as though Eric Everett was the one running the fade route and not the receiver, because Eric Everett actually has the outside position. He has the outside. Look at Everett to the outside. The ball's thrown to the outside. The quarterback's job in this is to allow the receiver to run his route and then throw to the receiver, not to throw it where he's supposed to be. But watch where he's going. You make your mind up. You can't read it. You can't go left, right. You pick out one side, just stay with it. If the corner jumps to the outside, you throw it to the inside.
The ball intercepted on the 1-yard line. First down.
The crowd, of course, is reacting to the fact they did not give Everett a touchback instead of ruling him down at the 1. At what point does momentum stop here?
Okay, the ball's intercepted on the 1-foot line. His momentum, or the impetus of the interception, carries Everett into the end zone. Therefore, the ball is brought back out to the 1-foot line and given to the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles have won it on the ground today. Look at the yards they have piled up. Tony with 82 on 17 carries. Sherman with 47. Cunningham 43. Reichenbach is one of the running backs. That was on the fake punt of 30 yards. Drummond with 19. Higgs 18. And Keith Byers with 3 yards. And from the 1, you can bet they'll try and add to that total.